Nice, my purple PlayStation's here. Watch the rest of this video and I'll show you exactly how I did this. Alright, first thing we need to do is remove the bottom tray, or the bottom holder here. If you haven't watched my unboxing video, I explain why I have this really long nail. I'm full of shit though. I have it because I'm lazy. Alright. Okay, that's done. Hardest part complete. Now we need to pop these sides off. Here is how we do that. Let me change the angle here. Okay, these actually come off with very little pressure, so if you're feeling like you're pulling and it's like not coming, you're doing it wrong. Because you're actually going to you're going to start with this top part to pull it that way. So you're going to kind of pull it down, but you're going to push at the base of the PlayStation up to get this to come off as you lift it. So just like that. Go from the corner, it'll slide right out just like this. Looks like I kind of scuffed my PlayStation doing it. Now do the exact same thing for the other side. Flip it over. You grab it from the corner, this corner I believe, and then that one pops right up. Zero pressure. Pops right off. So this is your PlayStation. When we finally have more information on updating our SSDs, here's the spot. Here's your SSD bay. So that'll be cool once we have one. I know we have like Western Digital, I think, has one that's possibly works, but no guarantees yet. Anyway, let's put this aside. There's our naked PlayStation. Now, since I'm going to be plasti dipping these, that way if we don't like the color, we can peel it off because it doesn't really matter. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm a noob. But what you're still going to want to do is get a nice damp cloth. Even though your console is probably brand new like mine and it's hardly been touched, just make sure there's nothing stuck to it. Now, you want this to be completely dry before you plasti it, because the plasti dip will peel off. So let's go like that. And always remember, if you get confused about how these plates go back on, this PlayStation goes to the back corner. So if you think about where your disk drive is or where the front of the PlayStation is, this is going to go to the back corner of that. So facing forward, this is the back on the left. So that's an easy way to remember it. Alright, now the plasti dip that I'm using, I just went and got some basic cheap plasti dip. You can get these at anywhere like AutoZone, Amazon, I think even Walmart. I went plum crazy. Let's see what this looks like when it goes purple. If it looks awful, which it might, I'll just peel the shit off because who cares. One thing though is that you're going to want to shake this can for about a full minute. Even the instructions say so, so give it a good shake for about a minute. Get your shake weight exercise in. Fellas, you already do this. Give it a nice, yeah, double-hander. Double-hander. And now the old pass back and forth. Who am I teasing? Who am I teasing? Alright. Now I highly recommend you also invest in one of these little trigger things for spray cans. These are like $2, $3, depending on where you get it. It just makes it so you don't get it all over your fingers. You can have a nice steady hold on your spray can. So highly recommend getting one of these as well so you're not just holding the can out. Unless you're a pro. I'm not. Okay, before we get started, I actually had to add a little bit of paper here to make this fit better so the trigger would actually work, because the can was down a little bit. But before we start this, keep in mind this is not a one layer spray. You're going to start off with something very small. You're going to do a very light coated texture on the top. Then we're going to wait 15 minutes and do the same thing. And then we're going to wait 15 minutes and do the same thing. And then we're going to wait 15 minutes and flip it over and do the same thing. So this will take a while. Each individual step is only seconds when it actually comes down to painting, but you do have to be patient with this or it's going to turn out like shit. I mean, mine might turn out like shit anyway, but we'll find out. Also, one other thing before we start, on the inside of the panel, as you can kind of see the light reflecting, there is a texture here, and that texture is the little PlayStation logo controller buttons. So You don't want to spray too far past that because there's no need to. So we're just going to only do this tip of the area and not the entire thing. So we're going to make it connect to the area that wraps around when we flip this over. So just a heads up to be ready for that. If you're nervous about painting your PlayStation covers, you can test it out on something else in your house. Like I just tested this out on a little vinyl toy. I think the color looks really cool. So hopefully it works on the PlayStation. Alright, before you start, I'm going to recommend getting a face cover. You should all have these anyway, right? Health scare and all that. Anyway, you don't want to breathe this in because it's plastic. I mean, you don't want to breathe in spray paint anyway unless you're trying to get high. But, so I'd recommend this. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to explain how I have this set up. Okay, so I've got these elevated on this box. I'm doing this for a reason because I want to be able to get around the edges. If I had it just face down in the box, pointing down and held up, standing up, I wouldn't be able to get the bottom. So this way I can go around the entire edge on this first coat and connect it when I start the other side as well. So it becomes one fluid, whatever, plasti dip. All right, let's get started. So again, first coat, we're gonna go light. All right, that's all for the first one. We're gonna let this sit for about 15 minutes, maybe 10. All right, we're gonna start wave 2. You'll notice that when there's no more reflection off of the paint, that is when it's dry. Just a few minutes ago, I could still see a little reflection like here, and here in these darker spots. One other thing to take note of is if you have the physical edition with the disc, you're gonna wanna make sure you get in this section, especially when you get into like coats 2 and 3. So let's go ahead and do coat 2. All right, that's all for coat 2. We're gonna let that dry. Next one's gonna actually be the one that makes most of the difference. All right, we're dry now. We're gonna move on to our third layer, but what I'm gonna do first is I mentioned earlier that we're set them up like this so I could get around the edges. We're good on that for now because we're gonna get the edges again when we flip them onto the other side. So what I'm gonna do now is lay them up straight so we can get a more steady stream going down the rest of it. So we're gonna carefully, very carefully, pick these up. Okay, new setup for wave 3. We're now going to go at it from this angle so we can get some more steady spray on it. And it seems like I have a good amount left in this can. About 2 cans though, just in case. You're probably going to want to do the same, especially if you do a test spray beforehand that took about 4 coats. This is the tricky part, is getting back here. Sorry, I realize I'm just shoving my ass in front of the camera. All right, we probably need one more coat after this. That's not zoomed in. Probably only gonna need one more coat after this, but it's starting to look awesome, especially when this dries. All right, that is dried. Let's take a look at it. I don't think I need to do another coat here. It's hard to get a good angle in here with this garage light, but yeah, that looks pretty freaking rad. It's got like almost a metallic look to it. Barney the Dinosaur PlayStation coming up. All right, so I'm gonna flip it over and do the other side. Similar to the last one, we're gonna actually go back up on top of this box. Let's make sure it's dry. It's been like 20 minutes on the last layer to let it dry. Alright, so now we're gonna go back up here. Make sure I got a good angle. Alright, now we're only gonna be doing these edges because this is all that's actually textured. So we don't want it to look completely stupid. So we probably already think it does. But we don't want it to look completely stupid when we put the cover back on. So we need to get these little edges. So very similar to what we did last time. Light layer to start. I'm kind of getting too much on the edges there. You can see the corners. Alright, so now we're going to leave this. Actually, you know what? Let me get inside here too. Now we're going to leave this and finish this up again in just a few minutes. Okay, so it's looking pretty dry. This little section, it's got a little bit of moisture still. It should be fine by the time we get around. This time I'm going to go around the edge, and rather than doubling up on the corners like this, I'm just going to do it in one kind of steady movement. If your paint tip gets clogged, just wipe it open. Seems like it kind of does that, since this is much thicker than regular spray paint. You can always spray a sample them out first to see if it's working. Okay, so I'm actually going to try and get this side by flipping it. I'll do that in just a sec, so I don't want to overspray this side. And I'll do the same thing with that one. So now let's just rotate these. That's really cool. Made a little PlayStation logo on it. Alright. Now we can finish our sides. Alright, that might be it. I'm not so sure it's going to need another coat, but we'll check, of course, in about 15 minutes, see how it looks. So it's still drying, but kind of just a look at the edges. Alright, this is done. This is completely dry. You'll notice, I think you can measure your success. So let me pull this off. As long as you can still see, I hope this can zoom in enough to show that. It's not really showing it. But as long as you can still see the little PlayStation controller logos in here, like X, square, triangle, which you can. It's really got a weird reflection in this garage though, so we'll check it inside, but some other angles for it. And these ones are very easy to see. The camera will let me, but let's put it on, see what it looks like. So I actually noticed when I brought these inside to better lighting, I noticed an area up here that wasn't, kind of got nicked. So I redid just one more coat. This one looks a lot more smooth. You can see the light bends across it. So one more coat. All right, that's about as dry as it's gonna get. So now let's put the sides back on the PlayStation and see what the final product looks like. It looks awesome. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it looks awesome to me. I guess that's all that matters, right? So let's see. Get that out of the way. Now, putting these on, exact same as when you took them off. You're going to find the corners and slide diagonally down in the exact same way that you slid diagonally up. So remember the disk drive? Well, this one's actually kind of foolproof, right? He says, as he's fooled. There we go. Now I'm actually going to put like a shirt or something down. I don't want to immediately scratch this. Back up. There we go. It's back on. Screw this guy in and we'll take a look. Oh, man. It's funny, this going to a different color makes things like fingerprint smudges stand out big time. All right, let's get some close-ups. See what it looks like. All right, I'm not gonna lie. This looks cooler than I thought it would. I'll see if I can get some better shots of it up in the light. Upstairs, I'm back in my basement right now. Oh, Mom's basement. Nice. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If you're going to try something similar, there's tons of different plasti dips out there to look for. I'll link some in the description. And otherwise, thanks for watching. If you have any questions on this, reach out. I'm happy to answer them. If you think this looks like shit, let me know. Just hope you have a good reason. Because it doesn't really matter, because this is mine. Take care, everybody.